Privateers were privately owned, armed ships given government permission to attack enemy vessels during wartime. They operated with official approval, making them legal pirates in the eyes of their own country. In the colonial era, as European empires like Britain, France, and Spain fought for dominance, privateers became a key weapon. Governments issued licenses to private ship owners, allowing them to strike at enemy trade without the cost of maintaining a huge navy. These adventurers sailed under their nation's flag, motivated by both patriotism and the promise of riches. Privateers had to follow strict rules, only attack enemy ships, never neutral or friendly ones. Captured ships, called prizes, were brought to port, where a court decided if the capture was legal. If approved, the spoils were divided among the privateers and their backers. This system set them apart from pirates, who followed no laws but their own. In earlier centuries, the line between private enterprise and state warfare was blurred. Privateers took on the risks of battle in exchange for a shot at fortune. Their work boosted their country's war effort and made the high seas a place of both danger and opportunity. The lure of wealth and adventure made privateering a tempting path for daring seamen. Privateers and pirates might look similar, but the difference was all about legal authority. Pirates were outlaws, attacking any ship for personal gain, and were hunted by all nations. Privateers, however, carried a government-issued letter of marque, specifying which enemy ships they could target. This legal backing meant privateers were supposed to be treated as prisoners of war if captured, not as criminals. Pirates divided loot among themselves and hid in remote bases. Privateers had to bring their prizes to a friendly port, where a court judged the legality of the capture. Only after this process could the goods be sold and profits shared. While both groups chased riches, privateers often saw themselves as patriots aiding their country's war effort. Pirates were driven purely by greed and a desire for lawlessness. The legal process and sense of national service set privateers apart from pirates. Privateers operated within a framework of rules, pirates did not. This distinction shaped how each was treated by governments in history. In short, privateers were licensed agents of war, pirates were enemies of all. The letter of marque was the privateer's license to attack enemy ships. Issued by a government, it named the captain, ship, and enemy targets, and often had an expiry date. To get one, ship owners applied, provided details, and posted a bond to guarantee good behavior. The bond ensured privateers followed the rules, no attacking neutrals or mistreating prisoners. The letter had to be kept on board at all times. Without it, a privateer could be mistaken for a pirate. After capturing a ship, privateers brought it to an admiralty court, which reviewed the case. If the court approved, the ship and cargo were sold, and profits divided among the owners, crew, and government. This legal process made privateering a formal part of warfare. The letter of marque was more valuable than any weapon. It was proof of legitimacy. Breaking the rules could mean losing the bond or facing criminal charges. The system balanced opportunity with accountability. Privateering was risky, but the rewards could be immense. The letter of marque was the thin line between hero and outlaw. Privateers were celebrated as heroes at home, but reviled as pirates by their enemies. Sir Francis Drake, for example, raided Spanish ships and colonies, earning knighthood in England and infamy in Spain. His capture of the treasure-laden Cacafuego made him a legend and a menace to the Spanish. Captain William Kidd started as a privateer but crossed into piracy, ultimately being tried and hanged. During the American Revolution, privateers like Jonathan Harrison captured hundreds of British ships, crippling enemy trade. These men were vital to the war effort, especially when official navies were small. Privateers blurred the line between patriot and pirate, depending on which side you were on. Their daring exploits inspired both admiration and fear. Success brought fame and fortune. Failure could mean disgrace or death. The legacy of privateers is complex, heroes to some, villains to others. Their stories still capture the imagination today. Privateering was a cost-effective way for governments to expand naval power during war. By issuing letters of marque, nations mobilized private ships to attack enemy trade without the expense of a large navy. Privateers disrupted enemy commerce, weakened economies, and forced rivals to divert warships for protection. This economic warfare could be as damaging as naval battles. Privateers operated far from home, striking at enemy colonies and trade routes. Their unpredictability tied up enemy resources and spread fear across the seas. Captured goods and ships brought revenue and vital supplies to the sponsoring nation. The system benefited both the government and private citizens. For a time, privateering was a powerful tool in the struggle for global dominance. It was warfare on a budget, with high stakes and high rewards. Life aboard a privateer was harsh: cramped quarters, hard labor, and constant danger. Sailors faced storms, disease, and the ever-present threat of battle. Combat meant cannon fire, close-quarters fighting, and real risk of injury or death. Despite the hardships, the promise of prize money lured many to sign up. A single rich capture could make a sailor wealthier than years of work ashore. Prize money was divided by rank, with owners and officers taking the largest shares. But many voyages ended empty-handed, or with prizes lost to the enemy. Capture by the enemy could mean a grim prison sentence. The life of a privateer was a gamble: high risk, high reward. Discipline was strict, and medical care was basic at best. Still, the dream of sudden fortune kept crews motivated. For many, privateering was a chance to escape poverty and seek adventure. It was a hard life, but for some the rewards were worth the risk. Privateering declined in the 19th century as professional navies grew stronger. Governments saw privateers as unpredictable and sometimes problematic. International law began to favor protecting neutral commerce and regulating warfare. The Paris Declaration of 1856 formally abolished privateering among major powers. Some nations, like the US and Spain, resisted at first, but the practice faded. The US briefly used privateers during the Civil War, but this